Good morning. This is John from the Springs Mennonite Church. Good to be with you today. It's a good day. It's always a good day when we can look for God and try to live our lives according to His plans and purposes. Today, I would like to share a passage with you from Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 17. This is a very, very practical but difficult verse. 24:17 says, "Don't rejoice when your enemies fall. Don't be happy when they stumble, for the Lord will be displeased with you." You have any enemies? Well, maybe we don't call them enemies. You have any people you can't get along with? You have any people that just irritate you or have irritated you? Do you know someone who just seems to want to make your life and maybe everybody else's miserable? Do you put up with someone because you have to, but you really don't want to? Well, life is full of people. I'm one of them, and so are you. And you know what? We're all strange. We're all different. We all have our own idiosyncrasies and our own little quirks that make us adorable at one moment and less than adorable the next. There are no perfect people. If you find one, you haven't. Just put it that way. But yet there are people who make life difficult. I've had some in my life. I remember my very first church. Guy in the church every Sunday walk past me at the door, shake my hand, and say, "John, I'm so glad you're here." Well, I found out that that really wasn't quite true. In fact, he worked really hard to get me to leave. And when I did leave that last Sunday, he came through the door, shook my hand, and said, "John, I'm sorry you're leaving." And I thought, you liar, you spent over 2 years trying to get rid of me. How dare you say to me, "I'm sorry you're leaving"? But I didn't say that. I'd like to tell you that I was better than that, but the truth of the matter is I probably didn't think about it fast enough. But I've thought a lot about it since. It's hard to pray for people who try to harm you. It's hard to pray for people who say things about you or your family. And if you're a parent, your kids. It's really hard to do that. And it seems like in our political world today, it's really hard to say good things about somebody that disagrees with you. Well, this passage tries to tell us something that's really important and something that'll make a difference in our lives. Let me read it again. Don't rejoice when your enemies fall. Don't be happy when they stumble, for the Lord will be displeased with you. There's something in us as human beings that wants us to experience, we call it justice. I want there to be justice. If somebody did something, I want them to pay for it. Then things will be okay. But do you want to get treated by God with justice? I don't. Because if He treats me with justice, I don't stand a chance. I want Him to treat me with mercy and forgiveness. That's the only way I have any chance whatsoever to walk with God. And if he treats me that way, as they say, here's the kicker, I have to treat others that way. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be enjoyable necessarily, but it's not an option. There's something about the sinful nature that wants to get even, wants to see people pay their due. But you know, there was a word that Jesus said when he was dying on the cross. You know what that was? He said, Father, forgive them. Now, that would have been good enough if he'd stopped there, but he didn't. He said, because they don't know what they're doing. You see, when somebody tries to harm you, I understand here now, I'm not making excuses for them, but they really don't know what they're doing. If they really knew what they were doing, they probably wouldn't do it. And so, therefore, it's easy to not rejoice if they stumble. Well, I got to tell you, that's not the way the world works. You won't find that suggestion in any book that you can read other than something like the Bible or some book on Christian ethics. But yet, that's how Jesus did it. There's no indication that he was excited when somebody who disliked him had a problem. He was excited when people found God and got close to the Lord. And that should be our only focus. Now let's go back to where I started. Do you know somebody that doesn't like you? I do. I could name quite a few. I guess they don't like me. And I can't change that. But I can change how I look back at them. I don't want them to be punished. Now, there was a time when I did. But I found over the years that's not what God wants, and that's not what I want. I would like for them to become really wonderful, upstanding followers of God. And I keep hoping that that'll be the outcome. I'm not in control of the future. I can't make them do anything. I don't have anything to do with their choices. I do have choices. I do have something to do with my choices. And my choice is not to rejoice when they stumble, but to hope and pray that they will walk closer to God. So you think about your life. How do you stand with this proverb? I told you at the beginning, it's a tough one, but it's a really good one too. Well, thanks for listening. Hope you have a really great day. I wish you God's very best. I really do. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you again.